All right. We are back again with Loki, and we're live this time because why not? Okay. All right. So, you have a synopsis, Mike?
Um, I have one, but I can shorten this up.
Okay.
Basically, we leave off right where season 1 ends, where Loki is kicked into the time door, and he's trying to warn everyone in the TVA that he who remains is coming, and the multiverse is multiversing.
That's one way to put it.
And yeah, basically this episode is Loki's experiencing time skipping, which apparently is not supposed to be possible in the TVA, but if it wasn't, then I don't know. That's our mystery.
Exactly. It's happening to him. So yeah. I like how we got the little tease of the fact of the conversation with he who remains and Renslayer talking. That you're a marvel and that we will lead through this together.
This show is probably going to have a lot more meta references than most people realize.
It is, and it's only just gonna start as it goes along. So had a whole lot of him zipping back and forth in the past and the future, which I didn't know if they were going to keep doing throughout the show, but I guess for now it's done.
I like that it's only really happening for this episode. I don't know if like the entire season could maintain that thread for long.
Yeah, because we got to see the future because of it, and all it was a line. After all of the timelines are either zipping back in or getting deleted, because that wasn't a normal time stream thing. It was just a flat line going across. So that was interesting. Oh boy, how do you say his name? Short round?
The actor or the character?
The actor.
Ke Huy Quan.
Ke Huy Quan. I love how, other than his voice being deeper, he literally has the exact same speech patterns as when he was a kid. That literally never changed.
Mm-hmm.
He just sounds like Short Round grown up. It's kind of insane to me. It's almost identical. I know you're like, duh, Brock, he's the same person growing up. I'm like, I know, but normally it doesn't exactly sound like that super excited kid, even when they're an adult. Like, he sounds exactly the same.
I think it's part of the writing too. They wrote this character to be a bit more excitable.
Mm-hmm. No, I knew about Ouroboros. Ouroboros is obviously the Legend of the Ouroboros, the Infinite, and also it is one of the mainline Resident Evil viruses, the one you get in 5, where it's a big like licorice crud like goo monster that multiplies off mass. So no, I knew well about Ouroboros. But so we get down and we start to get just how bad the memory erasing has been for that. The weird thing was, everybody thought that when he got zipped that the timelines changed. They didn't. He just got put in the past to how it used to be. That was not what I was expecting. I thought he got ripped out of the timeline and erased, and they like had to remember him again.
I thought that too at first, but I kind of like what actually happened, that he got sent back to the past.
No, I like that too. It's just that was a good distraction, or a good, I want to say, throw off, because that would make sense that Kang would come in and just change everything to make it look like he was the most important dude on the planet. Now you have to start wondering, when when in the transition from the past did he start having everything be disguised to make it look like it's not him?
Now that's a good question.
And why? Unless he who remains is the only not egotistical motherfucker among all of them. And wanted them to not know that everyone else existed and randomly went, no, I need to change this. We need to make sure that no one knows about any of us. So we're going to put some lizard people on some lizard people robots in place of it so that no one knows.
No, I think what his plan is, like, the less people know, the more, or no, the less people know, the less chance they have of rising up against him and all of the other variants.
Well, it's like there's that, but then there's also, if you know he existed and you know that there's a million of him, you're going to try and fight that? Because then we get the situation in season 1 where they went to fight him because they realized all the shit was fake. To where now, if you would have been the omnipresent holy shit mofo up front, would they still have tried that?
Perhaps not.
That's why you have to wonder what course of events made him went, oh, how are they able to beat me? I need to hide. Or I beat everyone else and they can beat just me. So we'll see. But
speaking of He Who Remains, eventually we will have to address the elephant in the room. So there was a little bit of news a while ago that this is one of the few Marvel shows to not have like additional photography.
Yeah.
So no reshoots, but we also know that Jonathan Majors is, still either he's on trial now or his court date is sometime this month.
I don't know. That whole thing kind of dropped off the face of the earth after some stuff sort of swung in his direction a little bit. We'll see. It's like, and it sucks because if he turns out to be a jackass, unbearable human being, it is what it is. But like just seeing the scene from the end of Loki again, I'm like, man, I hope that this is not true because I don't want them to have to recast you. But if you do, please God have it be Denzel Washington
or John David Washington.
There's few people that with the exact tone and cadence that Jonathan Majors was borderline attempting to be a soft version of Denzel Washington. Because like there's some versions of like Equalizer mixed with Man on Fire that I wouldn't mind seeing from certain personalities of Kang.
That would be pretty badass.
Because I'm gonna be honest. What was the other actor you mentioned again?
His son, John David Washington.
Like, if you're going to put Denzel in the Marvel universe, you're not gonna put him as a one-off.
No, he has to be like the biggest deal.
Because do you know what you can do then with his son? You can have him be a weird, wanky one-off variant that is unbelievably different than the rest of them. You could do something really cool with that. Or, my God, depending on what they do with
Iron Lad?
Iron Lad, no. That and the Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay.
There's some weird stuff in there, or you can have some other things go on. For people that don't know, anything involving Kang the Conqueror is, the more you look into it, the more it becomes a jumbled mess of malarkey that they never knew what they wanted him to be for like 70 years.
Yep.
Because my goodness, I did some minor digging. Like, I knew barely about Kang. He was one of those ones that I was just kind of like, okay, he's a person that time travels and he's got a green suit. And then I like started looking him up more in my adult years, especially because of this. I'm just like, ah! It's one of those things where I'm like, comic books, why? He's Tony Stark from an alternate future. He's Reed Richards' son. He's Captain Amazing.
He is everything. He is everything all at once.
He's the definition of that kid that doesn't. You want to know what Kang is? When you're trying to explain to someone what your dream was.
Yeah.
You have a very rough idea, but you don't remember 95% of it, and it gets worse every time you try to explain it.
Oh no! You know what Kang is? Kang is the game. He is the game telephone.
Oh god. Except they just hang up and redial it and start at the start again, and they're like, no. I know that wasn't what you told me. Let's try it again. Okay. Anyway, I will tell you, I really did like. I get an ache in the pit of my stomach whenever something does time travel. Because it can become stupid really fast by not paying attention to the simplest shit. But I'll tell you, how they did it in this episode was one of my favorite versions of time travel ever. We're having Mobius talk to Ouroboros, and he's like, no, Loki was just here. And he time traveled back and did that. And he's like, no, I would have remembered that. Wait. Is he talking to you in the past right now and you're just remembering it right now because it's just happening? I don't know if I've ever seen something do that before.
The only other thing that comes close to that is, I think it was the first Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where like they talk about like leaving a set of keys in a certain location. It's like, and then like 2 seconds later they find it right there.
I guess they're as close to that because he's got the word skin thing. It's just I've never realized where someone went. I would have remembered. No, God, yeah. I hope they do more crap like that because that is top tier, best version of using time travel.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I love how they just keep adding more and more shit to the TVA. The loom of time.
The temporal loom.
The temporal loom. Oh, gosh dang it. I was just like, okay, so we got that now. So we had to send. I can't get over how he's like, is this thing cracked? This is the last duct tape on it. That was one of the stupidest things they've done in any of these movies, and I laughed the hardest ever.
And of course, on TV tropes, it says duct tape fixes everything.
It does. Because see, now everyone is like, they have to make overdue jokes. If this would have been the version of Marvel that everyone makes up in their brain of how they tell jokes, Mobius would have went, what, is that temporal loop tape or something? He's like, no, it's just regular tape. It's almost like they don't get as corny as what everyone says they do all of the time.
Yep.
Good Lord, people. But,
speaking of the larger MCU, I know they don't have a director attached for Secret Wars, but now I need it to be the guys who directed this episode, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead.
I would be okay with that. We just have to. Or did they only direct this episode?
They have 4 more towards the end of this season.
Okay, so they directed most of the season. I will see how the rest of it goes. I don't know who I want to direct what. I'm okay with getting fresh blood in there, and they obviously want a specific person since they're getting real hands-on now with going, oh wait, we need to really make sure certain things are happening in the way they are. And it's not been often until this phase that they started literally pulling directors clean off of things. Directors have left. Not too many of them have been ripped off of a project, especially even writers and other things like that. So they're getting very serious about making sure this is done correctly. So we'll see. And I will say that every time now it doesn't go all the doesn't it's not this perfect every time. I will say that the best movies they've done, in my opinion, were done by a pair of directors that could split themselves up and make sure things are being done correctly. Meaning the Russo brothers.
Yeah, I think the best movies so far are the ones that have the strongest creative vision. And again, we will probably have to see how the rest of the season goes, but so far I think these two guys have a pretty strong vision for the MCU.
And we also need to find out what Secret Wars is, because Secret Wars might not have literally anything to do with time travel.
True.
Because that's going to be the one that has all of the shit happening in it. Because if even a % of all the rumors are what's going to happen in that movie, that is just going to be a big multiversal smodge podge.
They have to be careful, but I am hoping now that there is a newfound sense of we got to slow things down and get things right, that they'll actually get things right.
Oh, I think they will. I think that those Avengers movies are going to have some of the most ridiculous amounts of attention put to them ever. Like the rumor going around now that the new Captain America and Deadpool 3 are the biggest focuses of everyone once the strike is over to get done and in the can. I think that once those things are concentrated and over with, everything is going to be concentrated on those two movies.
Yep.
Like it's going to be all pedal we need to make these work. Because they've got other stuff coming out that's already in the can that they're just going to have whatever, like Echo's done. What's the other one? Marvel's. There's another TV show.
I
don't even know if they've even started writing Daredevil.
I know What If Season 2 is...
Oh, that's right.
Is like somewhere in the pipeline.
That's right. I forgot all about that. Anyway, back to Loki. So the phone was ringing in the past. Never picked it up. Don't know what's going on there. Was that... who was in the elevator?
That was Sylvie.
That was Sylvie?
Yep.
Or was that a variant of Sylvie? Because that was not the same Sylvie that showed up in Broxton.
That's a good point.
That was a very, very, very different Sylvie. And that's the... Wait, that is... He was in the future.
Oh, when the phone rang?
When the phone rang, who was calling? So yeah, that would make sense. That could be her. If that is Sylvie, that was... Who pruned him? Because he didn't do it. Someone pruned him from behind just so we couldn't see it. So I don't know if that's Mobius or somebody else, or if they'll even tell us.
We'll probably find out next week or this week, since we're a little bit late on this one.
I got a feeling that might be the last episode of the show.
You
know how ballsy that would be if it just literally gets to Sylvie and then something happens when they're getting back to the original timeline, and then all of a sudden she's like, shit, I have to send Loki back, and then he's like, oh, there you are. Her last thing she had to do was make sure that, and they're in some stupid freaking temporal loop again. If we get a season 3 and Loki is time slipping again, I've been time slipping for 4 years.
Seriously though, do you think this show can last multiple seasons?
Okay, so I don't know. I think the show can last as long as all of the time travel nonsense can last.
So
Because
it might only be 2 seasons.
it might only be 2 seasons. Because quite honestly, as risky as the show is, it is very good at putting up boundaries where it can be zipped back to second one. They are inside of the TVA, the grand timeline, whatever. They can always do a hibbity hobbity bibbity boobity that we fixed it. And it doesn't affect anyone. Because right now we had a whole season of Loki and it didn't affect anything else.
True.
Other than Kang. So in the grand scheme of things, we could have one thing come out of this season and the other 8 episodes of bullshit really didn't amount to anything. Other than maybe Loki getting out and actually being in the movies again. Which I had to look up. Broxton, Illinois is where Asgard gets zipped to in comics.
Yep, that is New Asgard.
Or Oklahoma? Illinois? Oklahoma? Was it Oklahoma? Broxton, Oklahoma? Yeah, in the comics originally, that was where it got zipped. So I thought that was kind of funny because obviously we didn't do that before. I thought that was pretty great because I'm like, I have been top 10 nerd. They've great website, a lot of great hosts on there. Some are kind of biff, but for the most part, they're pretty good. They do a lot of lists on there that are actually pretty good and well thought out. And like the Broxton, Illinois got brought up 1,000 times while I was just having like hour-long compilation lists playing in the background and listening to stuff while I was playing grinding on some games. And I'm like, Broxton. It's like a temporal echo. I was like, I know Broxton means something. Then it was like,
and then the light bulb went off.
And then the bulb went off. Ding! Oh yeah, that's where Asgard gets pulled to. Yeah, that was cool. So, and what? So we got to see her kill. I'm trying to remember that last episode correctly because I haven't watched it since we watched it for recording. We saw him point blank kill him, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Did we see anything what happened with her after that?
I don't remember what happened to her after that. I just know that like after she stabbed him, that's when the whole multiverse.
Yeah, because didn't she just go walk off to the window and she watched everything start falling apart? Isn't that just what happened?
I think so.
Okay. Because then the ending of it was him coming back and seeing Kang in the TVA. Yeah, we really never saw what happened with her. So she got out somehow. But yeah. Interesting. I'm already locked, like, I have that feeling of season 1 Loki again, and I really miss that feeling.
Season 1 of Loki was honestly one of my favorite of the MCU shows from, that was phase 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, season 1 of Loki was just so good. And
go ahead.
I don't want to jinx it because, for all we know, this season could fall off. But if it maintains this quality, I think season 2 could be just as good as season 1.
It could. And the weird part is, man, we got to see all these people back for just this little bit of time. It really made me realize 2 things. One, that Marvel is really good at making supporting casts. Like, I forgot how much I missed Owen Wilson. I really forgot how much I missed him as Mobius.
He's perfect for that role.
He is. And it's kind of made me realize that now that I've seen this and Love and Thunder, and it's not even any knock against the quality of Love and Thunder because I thought it was good, I honestly miss Loki more than I miss Thor.
I was thinking about that earlier. How like what how should I put this? People who call Love and Thunder the worst Thor movie, I
They
don't
never
think.
saw Dark World. Sorry. Sorry.
Hold on, let me finish. I don't think people. I don't think people who say that Love and Thunder is the worst Thor movie have said out loud that perhaps one of the reasons is it's the only one that Loki doesn't appear in.
Like, it's that, but it's like they would have had to have Dark World him again. I don't know what point he would have had in the movie.
That's true. Like he in the context of that movie, there's no reason for him to be in the movie.
Yeah, but if you're going to say that this is the one thing without Loki in there, you could say the same thing that this is the first that was the first Thor film that he literally didn't have his supporting cast at all. You see Civ for like
A minute.
You have Valkyrie and I guess Jane, but like the good chunk of who you're used to seeing in all these movies aren't there. Like you barely get Korg. It was a very Thor-centric film. No, it was honestly a very Jane-centric film.
Which is fine. I like Jane.
Which is absolutely fine. It's one of those things where, like, if I did honestly hear someone complain that the fact that it wasn't good because Loki wasn't in it, I was like, okay, tell me where Loki fits in with Thor not having a purpose anymore and Jane trying to recover from her cancer. Tell me where Loki would make any sense in there other than making a cancer joke at Jane and trying to make fun of Thor for not having his girlfriend. And then possibly for a shock off factor get killed by Gore.
Yeah,
because you weren't killing Thor in that film.
I probably wouldn't want to see that.
No one would have. It honestly would have made the movie worse, in my opinion, if Loki was in it, because it would have felt forced. But like this on his own, again, not because that was bad, it's just because this is really good. Like really, really, really good.
And Tom Hiddleston looks like he's just having the absolute time of his life.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston is one of the few people that, like, I get everyone is, like, after a while phased out of their Marvel roles. With how Tom has not had to be, like, nonstop filming all the time, I think he's gotten to the point of where he really enjoys anytime he gets to be Loki, because he's not always in a movie, like always a starring role, always the this, that. And I bet it's a lot easier doing these episodes.
Probably.
Because he's not on the screen at all times. He's zipping back and forth doing some things. He's not doing crazy, insane stunt work. He just gets to be a really good actor, which he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet he appreciates the living shit out of getting to play this character, because it's an actual, like, thespian level. Like, he has to have some problems and, like, be more above everyone else. He, like, actually gets to have some chops with this.
Yeah, they give him a lot of meat to chew on with the story, and just getting to work off of Owen Wilson has to be just the best.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And honestly, outside of shooting some stuff on green screen, he probably doesn't have to go very far to do his job. They'd use the TVA a lot for shooting.
That's true.
He's probably got a pretty easy time doing this. But yeah, I want to say anything as well. Who do you think pruned him at the end?
So it's down to two possibilities. One, the Sylvie that we see coming out of the elevator, or just in the elevator.
Oh, pruned him while she was looking at him?
Maybe not, but then if it wasn't her, I wouldn't want it to be just some random hunter.
It's unless it is someone from outside of the show. I'm wondering if it's Mobius. I don't know how that'd work, because it has to be someone that would have to prune him in the future to send him back. And there has to be some people that were looking for him, because when she opens the elevator, she goes, "Oh, there you are." And we didn't get to see the look on Sylvie's face if she was happy if Loki got pruned or not.
Yeah, she just kind of had almost like a surprise, but like kind of oh shit, I gotta go face.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all goes. It'll be interesting. That was a very good for the future tense type of save it for the ending type of thing. That was a very good way to do that very easily.
One last thing I want to mention is just how much I like the mid-credit scene where she walks into some random McDonald's from the 80s and she's like, how does this work?
How does this work? I don't know. I don't know food. I don't know anything. Tell me.
And then the look on the cashier's face when she says, "I want to try everything."
Good Lord. To see if she just lives a regular life being a manager at McDonald's until she gets found. How many episodes are there?
Just 6.
Just 6. Okay. They did really good with the 6 episodes last time. So I'm okay with that. I hope in the future that changes, but fit the episodes to the show, not the show to the episodes.
Exactly.
But don't go nuts. I'm okay that Daredevil's is long because that's a special thing. You can fit a lot with Daredevil and not have it make a lot of headway. If we're actually going to make it like a police procedural where it's half ass kicking and half in a courtroom, I do genuinely want that to be 24 episodes.
Same.
All right, Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media at Captain K42. You guys can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, Podchaser. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. You can find me everywhere at Organoid0 on the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, which, speaking of Twitch and Marvel, if you are a fan of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 by Insomniac Games, I will be giving away a digital deluxe edition of it at the midnight release on Thursday/Friday. All you have to be doing is be a subscriber to my, oh my goodness, Twitch channel, which is the same as the @ down there, and be watching at the time. If you're subscribed, it will have a little thing that tells you to enter a code word, and then it'll go boop, and you'll enter a token into a randomizer in my Twitch streaming software that will puke out a winner about 2 hours into the stream. And yeah, $5 wins something that's worth 80. I think that's a pretty good deal. All right, until next time, we'll see you all later. Bye.